if you at any point want to just mute it,
Okay.
it's those two.
Okay.
But you're ready. You're
All right.
on. I'll tweet it out.
Dad, you want to move the camera? Oh, sure. You can do that stuff. I just need this. Sure.
I go that up.
Kowalczyk, Verdecchia. Seaman, I think is that one.
All right, if you are joining us, we are here at Fairview High School between a matchup between the Fairview Tigers and the Fort LaBeouf Bison. The undefeated wave as LaBeouf kicks off and sends a long ball over to Januso, who will settle and will go out for a Fairview throw-in. Januso throws the ball back to Noble. And then a good pressure from Rathburn for LaBeouf, but DeArmond is there to receive the loose ball. LaBeouf off to a quick start, definitely pressuring the Fairview defense. DeArmond plays it out to the middle, bounces around back to McCall, who will play the ball over to Eli in the middle. Aiden Piazza with the ball on the left side, plays it down the line to Drew Smith. It'll be a Fairview throw as Fairview looks to move up the field. McCall to take the throw in. Finds Piazza. Piazza back to McCall. Tries to find Jan with a overlapping through ball. But Zach Scott falls on top of it, but he is, or Will Scott, excuse me, is unable to find it back to that. Oh, that was Zach? Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful blustery day here today.
Yeah.
First corner of the match, wind is going to play havoc with the ball for
Wind's
especially
blowing,
the goalkeepers.
Wind is blowing.
Gonna love that.
Blowing in on the corner from Drew Smith, so we'll have to get it low. Ball comes off the corner. Is met by Piazza, but is an easy save for Vanderhoof as the Buffalo look to reset. Clay Vanderhoof, the starting goalkeeper for the Bison today, punts the ball out just a bit long for Verdecchia. We'll go out for a Fairview throw-in. Juniso into George in the midfield. It's unable to find a pass. LaBeouf tries to play it back. Pressure from Jan. Ball's worked out to Major, who still has it, still on his feet. It'll be a foul against the Bison, though. Fairview ball. About the 50-yard line.
It was good they spotted that. It was off the ball, and Corey McCall was hustling to get back in position.
Yeah. Fairview plays it short. Drew Smith on the left side. Aiden tries to complete the 1-2, but is met by McMahon. Bluff tries to work the ball up. Drew Smith settles. Tries to play back to McCall. George in the middle. Receives a bit amount of pressure. McMahon back on the ball. Plays back to the Bluff defense. Good pressure from Fairview there. George with the ball in the midfield. It's met by Kowalczyk, excuse me. Ball's a bit too long for Zach Scott. It'll be a LaBeouf throw-in. Verdecchia will take the throw. Fairview will look to reset as the ball goes back to Nate Kissel. Back out to McCall on the left. A little pressure from LaBeouf. Piazza wins the ball back. This double team, but Fairview looks to switch the field. Nice little 1-2 with Smith and George. George is hit hard by a LaBeouf defender. Will be a Fairview free kick on the 40-yard line. Jan plays a nice ball on the right side for Zach Scott. Gets by one defender. Zach takes it to inside the box. Takes it to the touchline. Ooh. Tries to find Piazza. LaBeouf defender got his foot in there. It'll be a Fairview throw-in.
Corner kick, I think.
Oh, corner kick, yes. Smith takes the corner kick again.
LaBeouf's trying to keep the Fairview wingbacks from pressing too far forward, so they may have to find another way to advance the ball.
LaBeouf clears their lines.
Yeah, a little
We'll
bit long
look to
pitch.
pressure the Fairview defense. Noble keeps his composure over to McCall. McCall has a little bit of space in front of him.
Oh,
Plays
yep.
Eli through. LaBeouf playing a bit of a high line. Eli found a lot of space.
Ooh.
Plays Howells through. A nice ball, but he's met by Chase Bell, who will play the ball out of play and will look to be
Corner.
a corner kick. Jan on the corner. Ball it in. It's a nice looking cross. McMahon will look to clear his lines. Rathburn also up the pitch. McCall looks to take it up. Nice tackle by the sophomore Feltmeyer as Fairview throw in. Fairview looks to switch the field from the left side. Howells retains possessions in the midfield. He's met by a LaBeouf defender. A little miscommunication by LaBeouf, but Verdecchia is still on top of it. Zach Scott breaks through. He gets by 2, but he's unable to get past the 3rd. Fairview retains possession. A nice pass in the middle by Howells, but
Read well by the
read well by the LaBeouf defense. LaBeouf moves the ball up the pitch now.
Yeah, Keitlinger. did well there.
Keitlinger up over to Major. Tries to find Feltmeyer, but is a bit too long for him. It'll go out for a Fairview throw-in. Fairview will reset their lines. Noble will look to play out of the back. Bit too long from Januso. McMahon in the middle. Now off to Timon. Good defense from Corey McCall there. He looks to clear his lines and get on the counterattack. Plays out of play for LaBeouf throw-in. Timon to take it in for the Bison. Throws it in the middle. Major tries a shot, but is comfortable for goalkeeper Richie Darmott. Fairview will look to reset. Ball up to Eli Jan, who tries to flick it on for Zach Scott. It was a bit too short. A good ball through. Piazza 1v1 with the keeper. Can he put it away? Ooh, a great save.
Got a piece of it.
Great save by the goalkeeper. Good pressure from Chase Bell. Aiden is unlucky not to put that away, but it goes out for what appears to be a goal kick as it went off of Aiden Piazza. A nice start for Fairview, though. It was a nice ball in. Aiden was able to meet it, but it was good pressure and good goalkeeping from the Fort LaBeouf defense. As Fort LaBeouf will look to put on another attack. Ball in the middle to Rathburn. Rathburn finds McMahon. McMahon still on the ball. Will receive pressure from Piazza. Good defense from McCall. Kissel forces it out wide and will try to save it, but will be a LaBeouf throw-in. Diamond on the throw-in for the Bison. There's an in McMahon, or Feltmeyer, excuse me. Rathburn wins the header in the middle. LaBeouf tries to find a through pass to their forwards, but is met by the Fairview center backs. Good header from Zach Scott to retain possession. And Howells tries to keep it in, but will go out for a LaBeouf throw-in. As we appear to have a wardrobe malfunction. Drew Smith, his cleat appears to have fallen off. He will have to come out for a brief spell as Carson Carrera comes in for the Tigers. To play that central attacking role that Smith was playing. Bluff works it out of the back. A nice switch of play, but is met by the Fairview defense, and Howells will look to start a counterattack. Tries to play Carrera through, but Carrera didn't quite get on the run. Nice interception by George in the middle. Howells looks to switch the play. A nice ball over to Piazza. Switches the field. Piazza has Kerr in the middle. Is dispossessed, but remains on top of it. Thyman is closing him down very nicely. Resets, plays in the middle to George. George looks to play it over to his counterpart in Howells. Howells forces the ball back. Fairview will look to start the attack again. Jan on the left side. Nice ball down the line for Piazza. Good defense from Keitlinger to stop the Fairview attack.
That's going to be a good matchup all night, I think, or all day.
McCall with a nice ball in the middle. Ooh, misread by the goalkeeper. Still alive for the Tigers. Zach Scott with the ball. He forces it back out. Chinuso into Howells. Howells a good idea. Nice ball in. But good play from the For LaBeouf defense again. And Diamond will kick it out for a Fairview throw-in. McCall again on the left side for the Tigers. Jan receiving some pressure. Is able to find McCall. McCall in the middle. Nice tackle from Rathburn. As Noble will look to play back to Garment. So Fairview can reset. Good pressure coming in from LaBeouf. Was unable to find George in the middle. Ooh, good pressure from Corey. Good patience. And Fairview looks to restart their attack. George in the middle. Looks for Carrera. LaBeouf playing a very high line today. Yeah, it's a foul on.
They're pressing very hard.
Yeah, foul on McMahon on Jan. Fairview looks to take the quick free kick. Was unable to find Piazza coming on the left, but Eli retains possession. That is I believe a dangerous play rather than a foul. But Jan will take the quick free kick. Nice ball from Zach Scott into Howells, but is met by Bell. Chase Bell doing very well to keep the Tigers off the board so far in this game. And we'll actually go up for a LaBeouf goal kick.
Subs for both teams.
Yep, Carrera back out for Smith. Drew Smith coming back in the game.
And 21 Joey Lahotsky comes in for LaBeouf.
Eli makes the goal kick. Zach Scott with a man on. Good pressure from the LaBeouf midfield. McMahon tries to find Feltmeyer. McCall retains possession. Fairview look to reset. George in the midfield. Nice ball into Howells in the middle. Nice ball into Piazza on the left. It's just a bit too much. Vanderhoof is there to make the save, but a very good idea from Howells.
Yeah, it was good work.
Nice run from Aiden. Just a little too much.
Good quick read by the goalkeeper as well.
Up the pitch, tries to find the senior Lahotsky, but it's met by the Fairview defense. A nice long ball in from Justin Noble. Almost on a platter for Zach Scott. He looks to take it down to the corner. But Tyler Verdecchia is there to recover. The senior defender did well to close the gap on Scott and force another goal kick for the Bison.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing for dangerous work angle for Fairview to take, but Verdecchia was quick enough to catch up to that. Not a lot of defenders are.
Yeah. Fairview looks to work from the back. Januso looks to switch the field. It was met by Keitlinger. Feltmeyer tries to find a striker, but is unable to find one. Noble looks to get the ball up the pitch. Scott tries to get around the defender, but will instead go out for the LaBeouf throw-in. LaBeouf working out of the back. Keitlinger looks to send the ball up the field for a striker. Kissel does well to retain possession. The ball goes back up. A nice ball. Good touch from Howells. He's able to retain possession. Looks to find through ball, but Keitlinger is there again.
Yeah.
LaBeouf working in the midfield. McMahon on the ball. Verdecchia plays it into Rathburn. Rathburn finds Feltmeyer on the right side. And, oof. Fairview's lucky to not concede there. Left the right side open for Feltmeyer to play in a nice looping cross, but the header from LaBeouf is unable to find back in the net.
He eluded everyone, basically.
DeArmond, the goal kick into Piazza, works in the middle. George tries to find a forward, but is met by Verdecchia. LaBeouf works in from the left side. Good
It's an
interception from Smith.
Yeah.
Looks to find Howells. Tries to send Piazza through, who will pressure Bell, and does well. Vanderhoof keeps his composure and plays the ball out. And Eli Jan is unable to bring the touchdown and will go out for a LaBeouf throw.
Is Lindsay in here? Oh, she's not.
Fairview looks to book the ball in the middle. There's a foul on LaBeouf. Quick free kick for the Tigers. Nice ball into Corey from George.
It's a good
Corey
run by
McCall looks to take it down the wing. Still
Well
has
defended,
possession.
but he's able to get back. Yeah.
Fairview looks to reset, maybe switch the field. Smith and George try to play the 1-2, but LaBeouf midfield is doing well, pressuring those two. Janusa does well. He gets by one. He's unable to get past Verdecchia, but Fairview will have a opportunity with a throw in here. Eli is unable to get past the LaBeouf defender, but Fairview retains possession. Howells on the ball, finds Jan. Jan with room to work on the right side. Gets by one. Ooh. Scott is unable to meet the run. It's still a cross in. Header from Piazza is wide. Vanderhoof will pick it up. And LaBeouf will look to reset. Good move by Jan down there to get the ball in.
Yeah, that was. They did well. Piazza went up well to meet it, but couldn't get any power.
George wins the header in the midfield. Howells will look to retain possession. George with a good idea into Scott, but the run was just a bit behind. Fairview looks to reset as they play the ball back to Januso. And they'll meet the center back, Kissel. Kissel tries to find George, but Rathburn does well to pressure him and intercept, but Fairview retains possession in the back. Januso plays a long ball in, intended for Scott. Scott will meet it on the right side. Will look to take it down in the corner. Bit too heavy on the touch. Will just go out of bounds for a LaBeouf goal kick.
Yeah, he loves to do that, and he's good at it, to come in like that. That one just ran away from a little bit.
Fairview, they definitely have a nose for goal right now, but they just can't seem to get the proper passes in, but it looks like the goals should come pretty soon. Long goal kick, but does not mean any LaBeouf heads. Instead will fall to Kissel, who misplays it to Feltmeyer. Nice ball into McMahon on the right side. McMahon cuts inside on his left. Looks to shoot on his left. Off the crossbar.
Richie got a piece of that.
Richie did get a piece of that. That is an excellent, excellent save from Richie DeArmond.
Yeah.
A very, very good shot from McMahon as well. Not to go unnoticed, but that is excellent work from Richie DeArmond.
So
nips it off the crossbar.
McMahon's playing out on the right, but clearly he can hit it with his left. So
yes, So Fairview will have to watch that. Nice ball in, perfectly weighted from Howells onto Scott. Zach takes a bit too much on the last touch, and will go out for a LaBeouf goal kick. But that is an excellent ball from Howells, perfectly weighted for him. But yeah, Fairview will have to pay attention to McMahon for sure. He seems to like to come down on the right, cut inside on his left, much like Bayern Munich legend Arjen Robben. He was well known for that.
Right.
Pressure from the Fairview forwards as they try to force an error from the LaBeouf defense, but LaBeouf holds strong. Feltmeyer on the right side. Looks to get around McCall. McCall is able to force the ball back. LaBeouf trying to play patient. Play it up to Rathburn, who will pressure the Fairview defense. And they are doing well. It is the forward LaBeouf pressure is doing well for them.
Yeah, it's causing
some
havoc in the back.
Yeah, the passes need to be a little tighter from Fairview.
Dermott did well to play that to someone.
They did, yeah. LaBeouf throw in. Senior Lahotsky tries to break through, but Januso is there to meet him. George plays simple over to Howells. Howells to Smith. Smith tries to find Piazza. Was unable to meet him. Head coach Sonny Vidakovic urging his men forward, pressure to the defense and the goalkeeper because LaBeouf seemed to be a little too comfortable in the back. Zach Scott wins the throw in for the Tigers. Jan will look to switch the field. George out to Smith. Smith plays inside to Howells. It's met by LaBeouf defense again. Good tackle from Kissel as Corey looks to attack on the left side. Cuts inside, very nice. Gets around Feltmeyer. Gets around another. Corey McCall still with the ball. Now he's at the corner. And we'll go out for a LaBeouf throw in.
Tipped off of
Howells'
toe.
Yeah. Thyman into Keitlinger. Good pressure. It's a handball, yeah. Josh Howells does well to force the handball on Keitlinger, and Fairview has a free kick in a very dangerous spot.
Yeah, right up
just on the
down.
corner, left side corner of the 18. Eli On will look to either find a head on the ball or
He's got lots of options.
look to curl it in the back corner.
I think the coach,
That was a little
I think the
closer.
coach would like Piazza to take this. He's got that curling shot, but so does Jan.
Jan looks for a head.
Ooh.
Vanderhoof does well to get the ball out of
Good
danger.
punch.
That was going to hit a Fairview player. Fairview throwing, Januso on the right, looks to find Scott, is met by Kowalczyk. Wachowski takes up the field as Fairview looks to recover. Does well to play it back to Kissel, who will hit it up the pitch. LaBeouf switches field over to Feltmeyer, but McCall is there. Good pressure from Feltmeyer. McCall doesn't have many options right now. But he's able to force it up the field, but Diamond is there. Rathburn does well to play it in Wachowski. Corey plays up the field, deflected off the LaBeouf defender, stays in somehow, and Aiden is free on the left side after a tumble by the defender. Piazza to the corner. Keitlinger with pressure. Howells in. Ooh, great save from Vanderhoof. That is a point-blank save. Howells is unlucky to not score there, but that is excellent reflex save from Clay Vanderhoof,
Yeah,
the junior goalkeeper.
Piazza did really well, and just a little flick with the outside of the right.
Howells
Howells had to take a little touch.
Yeah, Howells will feel like he should have scored on the first touch, but he did have to retain possession and get a second shot. Split with the corner in for the Tigers. Piazza is there. LaBeouf will look to clear it out. As McMahon still has the ball, but McCall is there to meet him. Still some pressure from McMahon. McCall does well to turn inside and switch the field of play. George gets by two defenders. Plays Corey McCall in on a nice ball. Looks to get around Keitlinger. He does. Plays it in. No Fairview forwards in the middle, and Smith tries to keep it in, but it will roll out for a LaBeouf goal kick.
So we are scoreless halfway through the first half. 18 minutes left.
Yeah, Fairview will definitely feel like they should be taking advantage of their chances, but they are definitely commanding this game. If LaBeouf were to get a goal, it would definitely be against the run of the game.
Yeah, definitely the. LaBeouf's high pressure defense has kept Fairview uncomfortable, but they've still had the majority of the possession.
Diamond on the right for the Bison as he tries to find one of his forwards, but the ball stays in play.
Someone's gonna have to go get that.
Someone's gotta get that, but it'll roll out for a Fairview goal kick. LaBeouf definitely seem to be have some sort of style to them with their midfielders, especially they're trying to get the ball up to their wingers, their fast forwards.
They do. They look to counterattack quickly,
which is key for against a team like Fairview for sure, because Fairview likes to put a lot of pressure on the back lines of the defense.
Yeah, and Keitlinger and Bell are very solid in the defense. I don't think they're going to go
able to
through
get the
them
ball
very
up the
easily.
field.
Fairview will have to go around or over them.
George in the middle. So he looks to find Jan, but is unable to. McCall does well to intercept the ball. Okay. Ooh, that was still in play.
From 50 yards away, it looked like it was still in play.
But nevertheless, it's a throw in for the Bison. Diamond to take it. Over to McMahon. McMahon wins it in the air. McCall looks to play it in the middle to Howells. Smith plays into Scott. Zach Scott will look to beat Bell here, but he does not win the foot race, and Vanderhoof is able to get the ball. Rathburn in possession in the midfield. Displaces a pass, and George there intercepts. Gets around McMahon, but McMahon is able to shield him off. Thyman on the right side for the Bison now. Good pressure from Piazza. Wins a throw in for the
Yeah.
Tigers. It's very, very good from Aiden Piazza. Good pressure. George in the middle with a man on. Plays ball
He
in.
does well.
Scott with tons of space. Gets around one. Verdecci falls to the ground. Good ball in. Scott again will look to play it in. Piazza there. Another great save from
terrific save by
Vanderhoof.
Vanderhoof.
Zach Scott with another great run down the middle. Is unable to find a forward the first time, but gets a second chance, and Piazza connects with it, but another good reflex save from Vanderhoof.
Yeah.
Smith with the corner for the Tigers. 15 minutes left in this half. He's unable to get around the first defender, but McCall has time and possession. He tries to play ball back in, but he mishits it. And it'll be another LaBeouf goal kick.
So yeah, both goalkeepers on display today.
Vanderhoof definitely has had more to do than Diarmid, but
He has been busier.
Richie took his chance, and
Yeah.
the one opportunity he had, he made good of it. So Rathburn up the field on the left side, trying to get around Januso. Januso does well to intercept, but Rathburn's still on the ball after going through two defenders. Richie Diarmid comes out and collects the loose ball. Looks to find Simple. Is going to let Fairview reset and will look to punt it up the pitch. Slices it a little bit. It'll go to the right side or left side over the Piazza. Howells with a shove on would be
That's
Keitlinger.
Yeah.
It'll be a LaBeouf free kick from the halfway line. Keitlinger looks to play it into his teammates as they're all in the box. A great ball in. Is unable to meet any player,
Anyone.
but
somehow finds its way through all those players.
falls out
Out
for
of
a
bounds.
Fairview goalkeeper. That is an excellent ball in from Keitlinger from so far out. It looked like McMahon tried to get a leg on it, but was unable to get there. But a dangerous attack from LaBeouf. Fairview will look to reset. Noble takes it up the field.
The short goal kick that
And
never
then,
worked.
Yes, the new rule. You are allowed to play the ball in to your defender in the box,
But apparently no team is allowed to practice it because I've never seen a team do well with it.
even at the
That was
professional
fine.
level. We've watched many professional teams not
Right.
be able to do it. Rathburn into McMahon. McMahon does well to retain possession, plays it all the way outside to Thyman, who has a little space in front of him. Press play into Rathburn was met by the Fairview defense. Fairview a lot of space in front of him now. A great ball in from Smith over to Scott. Scott will try to get there, but it's just the wind takes it a little bit and it goes out for a LaBeouf throw in. But it's a good idea from Fairview. They're definitely catching LaBeouf on the high line. Those forwards have a lot of space in front of them when LaBeouf attacks. Smith looks to switch the field, but pressure from LaBeouf causes it to roll over to the left side of the field.
I apologize for the camera malfunction, which we have remedied. Now it will move.
McCall will take the throw in for the Tigers. Tries to switch the field of play. Howells in to Piazza on the left side after an error from the LaBeouf defense. He's got room to work with. Going to try to dribble around one. Gets around one. Cuts inside. Tries to find George, but is a little too wide for him. Rathburn up the field as Verdecchia will take it up the left side. Drew Smith does well to body Verdecchia off the ball, but it is called a foul. LaBeouf will take another long free kick from the 45-yard line. Fairview looks to hold a deeper line after the last scare. Ball coming in. A bit lower than last time. It still goes through everybody, but it does not touch any player and will go out for a Fairview goal kick. Noble to take the goal kick for the Tigers. Plays a little low, avoids a scare, but LaBeouf's midfield holds strong again. Feltmeyer into Rathburn. Rathburn with a nice ball over to Feltmeyer, but DeArmond does well to intercept the ball. And he looks to start a quick counterattack. A nice ball into Eli Yon. Good defense from Rathburn.
Yeah, it's good quick recovery.
That was good recovery from LaBeouf. George in the midfield now. Gets around 2 defenders. He's got lots of space in front of him. Plays a beautiful ball into Zach Scott, who will look to finish. Another great save by Vanderhoof. Gets himself out there, makes himself big. And is able to get a foot on the shot and goes out for a Fairview throw-in. Substitution for the Tigers as Aiden Piazza comes out for Carson Carrera. Carson Carrera will look to occupy that left wing role that Aiden Piazza was currently playing. Januso with a lot of space in front, looks to whip the ball in. Diamond is there to head the ball away. McCall with the ball now. Finds Carrera. Carrera looks for Howells. Howells with a shot from outside the 18 that goes wide for a LaBeouf goal kick.
Still scoreless. 9.5 minutes left in the first half.
Both teams are with very little changes. Only one substitute is coming for both teams. Scott with the ball now on the right side will look to get around Verdecchio, which he does. Looks to get around Poole. Verdecchio recovers. Shot from Nate George, just a bit wide. Keilinger to take the goal kick for the Bison. Skips a lot of players and play. Goes up for that. Plays for Ang. Space in front of him. Nice tackle from nice tackle from Diamond. Risky tackle to slide there in the comes in. And the LaBeouf defense does well. Danger. George in the midfield. Finds Jan on the left side. Jan cuts inside, plays back to George. Jan in the middle. Jan plays it out. Is intercepted by LaBeouf. McMahon will look to go on the counter. Januso and Kissel do well to force him off the ball, but McMahon still has it. Just Noble is able to recover the loose ball. Play up the field for Zach Scott. And we'll go out for a Fairview throw-in, as Verdecchio met the header. Zach Scott cuts inside. Gets around 2. We'll be online. We'll get the foul.
Let's hold his whistle for a bit.
Yeah, he's playing advantage. Good advantage by the referee. Another dangerous free kick for Fairview, about 20 yards out. That's good refereeing.
Yeah.
Back in my playing days, they didn't really call advantages all that often, but it's good to see.
At least wait a couple of seconds to see what develops.
Yes, because the Fairview was indeed trying to get in on goal. Smith to take the free kick on the with a left-footed option on the right side. Shot comes in, is low. It's collected by Vanderhoof. A low free kick. That's always dangerous.
I know. Looking for a deflection to get hit anything.
Looking at a deflection. Goalkeeper's not expecting it. Vanderhoof does well to collect the ball. George wins in the midfield. Ball bouncing around a little bit. Smith is able to send it up to Carrera, but it's going to be easily collected by Vanderhoof.
Was that Howells or Smith who took that free kick?
It was Smith. Drew Smith. Yeah, they wanted a left-footed option on that side of the field. A little miscommunication by the Fairview midfield as LaBeouf is able to go on the attack. George pressures Rathburn to stop his run. Rathburn looks to switch the field of play over to Keilinger. Keilinger still with the ball. Pressure from the Fairview defense forces him to play it back. LaBeouf still with possession. Ball in, looking for Major, but DeArmond meets it. But tries to find Scott, and we'll go out for a Fairview, or a LaBeouf throw-in. LaBeouf working in on the side, and Richie DeArmond collects. Looks to punt the ball up the pitch. Met again in the midfield by LaBeouf. Feltmeyer plays it out to Diamond, who keeps it in play, but McCall clears his lines. McCall, the heavy touch, still able to retain possession. Looks to switch the field over to Smith. Smith plays ball in to Scott, but Verdecchia does. Brother on the ball, but Smith is able to retain possession, and he gets a throw-in for the Bison. Rathburn in the middle for the Bison. Good ball into the strikers. Major on the ball right now. George does well to recover. Ball's bouncing around. Fairview clears their lines. They do well. Kerr around Timon, but Timon does well to shield Carrera off the ball, using his height and strength to shield him off the ball. Misplay by the LaBeouf midfield as Howells pressures the LaBeouf defense, but Keitlinger does well to clear the ball, keep his composure. Carrera on the left side for the Tigers will look to get around Keitlinger. He does, cuts inside, finds Howells. Loose ball falls to Elion. Elion cuts inside, looks for a cross. Nice looking ball in. George is just a bit too late. George with a great run in, a great ball in from Jan, but George's run is just a bit too late. Loose ball falls out to the Tigers. Scott gets around Verdecchia. Nice low move. Looks to take it to the right side. Cuts inside. Puts Rathburn on the ground and chips the goalkeeper, but it just goes wide. That's excellent work from Zach Scott. A fantastic run. He gets around 3 defenders, puts one on the floor, but it looks like Vanderhoof got a piece of it, and he'll go out for a Fairview corner. Smith to play the ball in for the Tigers. Wind blowing out. Good ball in. Vanderhoof meets it in the air. Jan tries to hit the rebound. There's not much on it as Vanderhoof collects easily. Ball working around the midfield as Fairview retains possession. Elion plays it out to McCall. McCall tries to send Carrera along. Carrera looks to keep it in play. It looks like it will stay in play, but Carrera's unlucky. 2:50 left in this one as it's still scoreless. Eli is able to intercept the LaBeouf throw-in. George has some space in the middle. Look to do something with it. Plays it into Jan. Jan cuts inside. Jan needed one more touch for a shot. He was looking for it. LaBeouf does well again to keep the ball out. Fairview looks to pressure the core defense. Or not core defense, LaBeouf defense. LaBeouf with control in the midfield. McMahon. Pressure from Carrera does well to intercept the ball. George gets around a slide tackle for McMahon, but is unable to get around the second defender. McCall does well. Plays ball out to Zach Scott. Zach Scott looks to beat Verdecchia. He does. But Verdecchia's brother is there to help him out. Howells looks to find George, but a little miscommunication. George does not make that run. Miscommunication with Feltmeyer and Verdecchia as ball rolls out for a Fairview throw-in. Juniso looks to play the cross in. Good ball in. There's just not a forward there to meet it. Carrera tried to get on the back post run, get the easy tap in, but Vanderhoof does well to collect.
Yeah, he's not going to let that ball slip.
McMahon appearing to play a more deeper role for the Bison as he orchestrates the midfield from the back. Feltmeyer in the middle for LaBeouf, so he looks to play Major out wide.
He'll stay in.
Noble locking him down, not giving him any space. Good defense from Justin Noble. We'll go out for a Fairview goal kick. Excellent work from Justin Noble to stop the LaBeouf attack. Closing down on 1 minute left in the half.
1 minute left in the half.
So Fairview will look to try and get something within the final 50 seconds. Noble to take the goal kick for the Tigers. A little low, but still gets over to Jan, but he's unable to flick it on for Carrera. Jan in the middle. Settles. Verdeschi does well to play it inside to Bell. Works to the midfield, but Smith intercepts. Nice ball in from Jan. George falls on top of it. Plays in Carrera. A little too much. Vanderhoof off his line does well. Vanderhoof is definitely looking for those long through balls, especially since LaBeouf is playing such a high line. He's off his line. He's aware. He's ready to meet. So Fairview's going to have to play some better weighted through balls in. But Jan finds Carrera on the left side. A nice ball in.
9.
But Carrera just sends it wide as the
7,
half comes to a
6,
close.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That is the first half here at Fairview. We are scoreless at the half, but Fairview definitely with plenty of chances. I'm sure that is Sonny Vidakovic will be.
Yeah, it was exciting half.
He will be
despite no
urging his
goals.
team on to score, urging his team on to take those chances
Is
and
that-
put them in the back of the net. But not to take away any credit from junior goalkeeper Clay Vanderhoof doing very well to keep LaBeouf in this game.
Oh,
Could
yes.
and probably should be 3-0,
Yeah,
but he made two
couple
fantastic
terrific saves. Yes,
reflex saves and a good breakaway save.
and he commands the whole penalty area pretty well. So
He's
he doesn't
definitely,
do well
yeah,
to beat
Fairview
him.
could definitely have a
Knows
couple
what he's
more
doing.
goals on breakaways, but they're doing well. Vanderhoof is doing well to get off his line. Richie Darmont didn't have much work to do, but when he did well. Good save, tips it off the crossbar. Keeps a surprise goal from LaBeouf. Definitely would have been against the run of play.
Well, they definitely want to try to counterattack, and LaBeouf does, and they've had some success doing it, at least getting the ball out wide and getting down to the wing. But the final piece of the puzzle isn't there so far, and that's a lot of that credit to Fairview's defense, recovering well and reading the ball
Well, if
when
we
it comes down.
have any Pitt fans on air right now, Pitt gives up a last-minute touchdown to lose to NC State by 1.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. 30-29. So Pitt's stint as a ranked team will last only 4 weeks this year.
Be brief.
Some scores from around the league, if we can see what our man Tom Rees-Weber has to say. Although he is at a football game right now, so he might not be updating anything, but this will be another. Fairview will hope to win this game and stay on their winning ways before they travel out to Merciers for a huge region matchup on Monday night. That is a storied rivalry.
And they both want to go into that match undefeated.
Yes, that is.
Fairview's got some work
that
to do.
is almost always a region decider,
Yeah.
unless there's a fault
Yeah.
from any team outside of those two. It's always a region decider between the two teams. So Fairview will look at that after a 3-game match week.
Preview of the district final
Most likely will.
has been, but this is a funny year in many ways. And, we'll just hope to get playoffs at some point.
Scores from around the world. Newcastle currently leads Burnley at halftime 1-0 off a goal from Alan St. Maximin, which is great because I benched him in FPL.
Well, serves you right.
International with a goal for the Magpies. Is that what they're? Is that
They are
their
the
nickname?
Magpies.
That's right.
Yes.
There are some MLS games tonight as well.
No. I think this is-
I don't think he did. It appears that head coach Sonny Vidakovic's halftime talk was a bit under the 10-minute threshold as Fairview comes back on the field with 2.5 minutes left. Probably not a lot to say other than just got to finish your chances. Fairview with lots of shots on goal in the first half, but are still scoreless, and LaBeouf are looking to counterattack dangerously and try to get a goal against the run of play. Fairview will bring out their starting lineup. Aiden Piazza comes back in to replace Carrera. LaBeouf also takes the field with an unchanged starting lineup. I'll apologize to our viewers that we are unable to zoom in as much anymore because my cameraman had to leave. So we're going to have a wider angle. Hopefully we're still able to see. Josh Howells will take the ensuing kickoff for the Tigers as they will look to get the second half underway and get on the board. Second half is underway here at Fairview. George works ball in the middle. LaBeouf is there to meet them. George sends the ball up the field. LaBeouf defense holding strong yet again. Jan forcing it out to the right side. Finds Piazza, or the left side, excuse me. Kessel looks to get around Rathburn. Still on his feet. Rathburn gets it, kicks it out, and will deflect off of Piazza for a LaBeouf throw-in. Keitlinger does well to get around McCall. McCall kicks it out for a LaBeouf throw-in as LaBeouf looks to push it up the field. Fairview drops back a little bit for the impending LaBeouf attack. Diamond into the middle. Kissel does well to head the ball back to his center back counterpart. Good ball out from Noble to Scott. Scott plays it back in to Januso. Keitlinger does well to intercept and will go out for a Fairview throw-in. Scott into George. Good pressure from Verdecchia, but will go out for another Fairview throw. LaBeouf bringing the pressure yet again. Coming out swinging this half. Feldman does well. Feldmeyer, excuse me. But Fairview falls on top of the loose ball. McCall out on the left side for the Tigers. Plays in Piazza. Piazza still with the ball on the left side of the field. Good tackle from Diamond as will be another Fairview throw-in as Fairview looks to work the ball up the left side of the field. Fairview forced the ball back. Pressure from Keitlinger on George is successful, but Fairview is able to retain the ball in the back. A lot of pressure coming in from Rathburn. Januso holds on to the ball, finds Scott on the right side. Scott tries to find Smith in the middle, but Rathburn is there to intercept. Fairview working the ball around the back, trying to get around the Fort LaBeouf pressure. Januso into Smith. Smith is unable to meet it. Rathburn on the left side. That has been, Verdecchia with a nice ball in. George wins the ball back in the midfield. Fairview looks to start the attack on the left side again. Howells over to Jan. Jan plays Aiden Piazza down the line. Nice little play on the left side of the field for the Tigers. Good tackle from Timon. And we'll go out for a Fort LaBeouf throw-in. Fort LaBeouf defense is holding strong today. They're definitely not giving Fairview any breathing room. George looks to pounce on the loose ball. The ball will roll out, but it's kept in by LaBeouf. Januso on the right side. Nice ball over to Zach Scott. Zach Scott has a little bit of space in front of him. Nice little 1-2 with Drew Smith. Scott tries to get around Bell, but Bell is able to force it out of play, and it will deflect off of Zach Scott for a goal kick for the Bison. Vanderhoof to take the goal kick for the... Actually, it'll be McMahon who'll take the goal kick. Scoreless first 4 minutes, as we got 36 minutes left to play in the half. Ball in the middle. There's one in the air by LaBeouf. Ball into Major, but McCall does well. Pressure on Nate George, as Nate George is able to evade the pressure. It's some good press resistancy by Nate George. Januso with the ball on the right side. Tries to heave it up to Howells. The header falls to Zach Scott. Zach Scott with some pressure by Rathburn. Tries to force it through. Rathburn gets around Scott. Gets around George. Rathburn with the ball in the middle. Tries to lay it off to Keitlinger, but is unsuccessful. Keitlinger moves into striker. McMahon drops into a center back role. Ball works around the midfield, but LaBeouf are unable to get an attack out of it, as Scott will look to bomb it down the wing. Zach Scott using his pace is fouled. That is a free kick. Should be a penalty kick. That was inside the box. LaBeouf is very lucky to get away with just a free kick there. That was a definite foul, but it was inside the box, but the ref calls it right on the 18-yard line. A tight angle, so Smith will probably look to cross it in. Plays it in low. Switches the field of play. Some pressure from LaBeouf. Corey takes a long shot, but is unable to find the back of the net. Comfortable save for Vanderhoof. Good ball in from Smith. Fairview is unable to find the back of the net. Smith wins into the midfield. Verdecchia does well to clear the ball. Be a Fairview throw-in on the right side. Smith to take it. Keitlinger on the ball for the Bison now. Works it over to Rathburn. Good pressure from Howells. Forces a loose ball. Excellent pressure from the Fairview offense. So they look to switch the field over to Piazza. Piazza is able to shield off Diamond, but Diamond recovers and clears it out for a Fairview throw-in. Piazza back to McCall. Back to Piazza. Good work from the LaBeouf defense, but Piazza retains possession. Ball into the middle. There's no one there to meet the McCall cross. Scott with some time on the right side of the field will look to play it back to Januso. More pressure from the for LaBeouf offense. George with a nice left-footed ball in, but is cleared away by McMahon. George retains possession again. Some pressure from Keitlinger. Januso out wide. Plays ball into Kissel. Kissel out wide to McCall. McCall takes up the field. Nice little flick on by Piazza. McCall will take it to the corner, but it goes out for a Fairview corner. Some good little 1-2 play from Piazza and McCall. Forces a Fairview corner. Eli will look to take the corner on the left side as the wind is blowing in. Nice whip ball in. Is unable to get around Rathburn, the first defender. McCall plays it back out wide for a second cross, but Rathburn is there to intercept. Keitlinger on the ball now. Good pressure from McCall. Keitlinger retains possession. Kissel intercepts the pass. And Fairview looks to move the ball to midfield. Good ball in to Smith. Smith, a little pressure. Finds Howells. Howells picks his heads up. Tries to find Jan on a good run in. Was unable to meet him. LaBeouf clears the danger. Fairview will look to reset. Kissel controls the ball down. Keitlinger does well to win the ball back in the air. Tries to take a big touch around, but is unable to retain possession, and Richie DeArmond makes the save. Intercepts the loose ball. Sends Keitlinger flying. and he'll look to punt the ball away. LaBeouf midfield tries to work it through, but Jan is there to intercept. Plays it out to Justin Noble. Justin Noble looks to play a nice ball up the field to Howells, but Vanderhoof looks that he'll be comfortable. Oh, it goes through Vanderhoof's leg, but defender Chase Bell does very well, keeps his composure, and forces the danger away after a bit of a miscommunication from the center back and the goalkeeper. Quick throw in as Howells looks to cross the ball in. Little scuffle in the corner. Howells does well. Deflects off of Feltmeyer for a throw in for the Tigers. Fairview looks to switch the field of play. Januso all the way over to McCall. McCall has some room outside the 18. Tries to take a shot. Is blocked. And LaBeouf will look to hit on the counter. Good defense by Corey McCall yet again. Piazza slips, but retains possession. Ref plays advantage on a foul. Foul is then called, as Fairview is unable to make forward progress. Eli will look to play a long ball in from the 30-yard line as Fairview lines up with a few players in the box. Jan whips it in. Hits a LaBeouf defender and goes out for a Fairview corner. This will be Fairview's, I believe, 7th corner of the match. Actually, that'd be 8th, excuse me. Drew Smith on the corner for the Tigers. Good ball in. Unable to meet a Fairview player. Keitlinger works the ball up to Rathburn, but Januso just gets a touch in there to force a LaBeouf throw in and stop the counterattack. Ball in the middle. Rathburn on the left side for the Bison. Feltmeyer and Januso look to retain possession. LaBeouf working around the midfield. McMahon playing a higher line now. Intercepted by George off the pressure from Piazza. Good ball into Howell. Just a bit too much for him. Bell does well to clear the ball away. Eli retains possession in the midfield. Works around McMahon. George switches the field of play. Smith one more out to Zach Scott. Zach Scott with room in front of him. Tries to take it to the corner, but Verdecchia does well to get in front of him. Forces another Fairview corner. It'll be Fairview's 9th corner of the match. Drew Smith on the corner for the Tigers again. Good ball in. Unable to meet any Fairview heads that were up in the air. The good ball in does not touch anyone, so it'll go out for the LaBeouf throw-in on the other side of the field. Apologies to our viewers if you cannot see the other two corners, but that's just how the camera is set up. Jan does well to force the ball off of Feltmeyer, but it goes out for a LaBeouf throw-in as LaBeouf looks to start another attack. Intercepted by George in the middle. Howells with a nice ball into Scott. Scott is in on goal, but Vanderhoof is off his line again. Does well to meet the danger. LaBeouf looks to start a quick counterattack. Good tackle from Drew Smith. Good pressure from the Fairview offense. Howells has possession outside the 18. Howells has a few defenders around him. Tries to take a shot. Is unable to find the target. Goes out for the LaBeouf goal kick despite protests from the players for a potential penalty kick. The ref does not budge. Will be a for LaBeouf goal kick. Keitlinger with the goal kick. Flicked on by midfield. Possession. One gets first DeArmond. Gets around DeArmond, but too much pressure from the Fairview defense forces Rathburn to kick it out wide. Richie force Rathburn to take a bad touch outside. Fairview lucky that they are not 1-0 down. Piazza in the midfield. Retains possession. Is dispossessed by Keitlinger. LaBeouf still playing a pretty high line as they look to quickly counterattack. Keitlinger on the ball in the midfield. George wins it. George plays it back. Intercept it. Tigers now Plays down to Zach Scott. Zach look to get around Bell, but here's the danger. Deflects off for a Bison. Sends the ball up the field. Flicked on by Rathburn. Tries to find McMahon. It was a bit too much. Januso does well to retain possession. For the ball tries to force ball in, but it'll go out of bounds for a throw-in. McCall to take it. McCall into Piazza. McCall switches to field of play. There's no one in the middle to meet the ball, but loose ball falls out to Januso. Januso looks to try to send Zach Scott. Verdecchia is there. Verdecchia has to clear away the danger after the pressure from Zach Scott. Be a Fairview throw-in. Januso to take it. Smith in the middle, intercepted by Verdecchia. Nice ball up to McMahon. Pressure from Nate Kissel. He's able to get a foot in there. Fairview wins the ball back. Pressure from Diamond is able to force a bad touch from Aiden over to Jan. We'll go out for a LaBeouf throw-in. For LaBeouf doing very well pressuring, it seems to be their game plan, as Keitlinger takes the ball up the field. Cleared away by Kissel. And Zach Scott is able to win the ball. For LaBeouf gets away with a bit of a handball there, but no appeals from the players, so they'll keep playing. George works the ball into Piazza. Piazza plays it back to McCall. McCall looks to take a big switch over to Zach Scott. Excellent ball. Goes over the head of Verdecchia. Scott tries to work around the Verdecchia brothers. Plays a cross in, but it is out wide. Goes over the line for a LaBeouf goal kick. Corey McCall doing very well, playing those nice long through balls in from the left back position. Fairview definitely looking to switch the field of play, especially against this high line, trying to catch Fort LaBeouf's fullbacks caught inside a little bit. Keitlinger on the goal kick for the Bison. 24 minutes left in this game, still scoreless. George wins it. Ball bouncing around the midfield. McMahon gets a head on it. Still Fairview on the ball. Plays advantage after a shove from McMahon. Ooh, good pressure from Josh Howells. Forces LaBeouf to clear the danger. It will be a throw in for the Tigers in a dangerous area. Substitution for the Tigers as Josh Howells comes out for Carson Carrera. Carson Carrera will play up top. Drew Smith to take the throw-in on the right side of the field near the corner flag. That got back out to Smith. Smith plays ball inside. It's met by the Fort LaBeouf defense. George tries to retain possession. Does well. Pressure from the Fort LaBeouf defense forces a loose ball. Rathburn with possession. Plays it up to Feltmeyer. Feltmeyer into McMahon. McMahon is called for a shove on Eli, as Eli does well to shield off the ball and force the foul. Fairview free kick, Justin Noble on the 45-yard line. About the same spot that he hit the only goal in the 2018 District Championship, which proved to be the game winner. Long free kick in. Good ball in. Aiden meets the header. Excellent goal. Wow. What a ball in from Michael Januso. That is excellent. Big looping ball in from Michael Januso as he plays a long ball in, and Aiden Piazza is there to meet it with the head. The Buff had no answer to that. 1-0 Fairview, 22 minutes left to play. That is textbook from fullback. Michael Januso has been watching a lot of Trent Alexander-Arnold. LaBeouf looks to reset. But Fairview wins possession. Januso back out to George. Noble looks to find Scott, but is unable to meet him. LaBeouf will let it go out for a LaBeouf throw-in. Kowalczyk with the throw-in into McMahon. Bell tries to clear his line. Rathburn does well to win the ball in the air. Out to Januso. Januso tries to find Smith, but Rathburn is there to intercept. Rathburn on the ball for the Bison. Plays it into Feltmeyer. Big touch from Feltmeyer is met by Nate Kissel as Fairview clears their lines. Good header from the LaBeouf defense as they clear the lines to start another counterattack. McMahon on the ball in the midfield now. Nice little cut inside. Gets around George, but is unable to get around Kissel. Fairview will look to pressure. Carson Carrera running on to try and force Keitlinger to take a bad touch, but Keitlinger keeps his composure. Nice interception from Aiden Piazza. Looks dangerous. Gets around one. That is a free kick and will be a yellow card on Chase Bell, I believe, was the offender. Yes, Chase Bell receives a yellow card for the challenge on Aiden Piazza as Aiden was getting around a couple defenders. Bell just kind of got in the way. No ill intent, but he has to come out for 5 minutes per PIAA rules. Aiden Piazza will look to take advantage of the spot kick from 25 yards out. Piazza looks to be lining up a shot. Hits it low. Vanderpool spills it. He falls on top of it. Another low free kick for the Tigers. Vanderhoof spills it, but is able to recover it before Zach Scott could get to it. Good pressure from Verdecchia to force Eli Jan off the ball. Verdecchia looks to dribble at the pitch. Jan wins it. Jan tries to retain possession. Fairview playing a little more relaxed in the back. Noble plays it up to Piazza. Good switch of play. Piazza plays Carson through. Carson is in on goal. Keitlinger catches up to him. Carson cuts inside. Over to Piazza. Piazza with a shot. Off the back of LaBeouf defender. Smith with the ball. Smith looks to shoot. Good save from Vanderhoof. Just gets a fingertip on it. Will go out for a Fairview corner. Might have been looking wide, but Vanderhoof does not know that. He does well to clear the ball away. Drew Smith to take the corner. Right at the hands of Vanderhoof. A very powerful header from Aiden Piazza. Looked to find his second goal to come off his head, but Vanderhoof is right there to collect it. LaBeouf looks to start another counterattack, but Piazza does a little more defensive work and does well to shield the ball out for a Fairview throw-in. Less than 20 minutes left in this one, about 19 and a half minutes left. Fairview still up 1-0. McCall hoofs it up the pitch. LaBeouf is able to win the free header. Both teams trying to get control of the ball in the midfield, but it looks like LaBeouf will win that battle. Good interception from McCall, though. He looks to play in Carrera. Carrera with more pressure, does very well, forces a Fairview corner. Good pressure from Carrera causes the senior defender, Kowalczyk, to force the ball out of play. This is, I believe, the 11th corner for the Tigers today. Drew Smith will take it. Good ball in. Vanderhoof meets it. Piazza tries to shoot on the open net, but LaBeouf was positioned well. Ball whipped back in by Jan. Vanderhoof can't seem to control it, but falls on top of the loose ball. Does well to retain his composure and throws the ball out for a quick counterattack as Keitlinger takes the ball up the right side for the Bison. Cuts inside. Plays inside of McMahon. Inside Lohotsky. Tries to find Rathburn, but Fairview defense does well to clear it. Smith flicks it on to Piazza. Now that Fairview's got a little bit more space, hoping to take advantage of the high line of LaBeouf. Scott on the right side will get past junior defender Jimmy Taylor, who came on for Bell. Tries to force it inside, but is unable to find anybody. It rolls for Piazza, but the shot does not have enough on it, and Vanderhoof collects easily. George wins the ball in the midfield after the punt from Vanderhoof. Shields off the ball very well. Is able to retain possession. McCall with another good switch of field, but a little too much for Piazza as it falls into the hands of Vanderhoof. Head coach Sonny Vidakovic encouraging his midfield to communicate better as Rathburn looks to force the ball through, but is met by immense pressure from the Fairview defense. Gets around Kissel. Rathburn still on the ball, plays it into Feltmeyer. Justin Noble does well to force Feltmeyer off the ball, and Richie DeArmond clears the danger as it will be a LaBeouf throw-in. Double substitution for the Bison as Chase Bell comes back in after his required 5 minutes, and it appears that Tyler Vedecchia is coming back in for Lahotsky. Dangerous throw-in. Unable to clear the danger, but George is able to get ahead on it. Keitlinger still with the ball, about 20 yards out. LaBeouf is retaining possession. They're forcing the ball back. Bell on the ball now, looks to play back in. Good interception from McCall as Fairview looks to start the counterattack. They've got numbers. Good touch, big heavy touch from Piazza as he looks to get around Bell. Cuts inside, does well. Piazza with a shot. Good save from Vanderhoof. And LaBeouf will look to reset. Good work from Aiden Piazza. Big touch down the left side. Cut inside, was just unable to get the shot away. Keitlinger looks to find Verdecchia on the left side. Ball bounces around the midfield. Verdecchia into McMahon. McMahon gets around George. Gets around Jan. Good pressure from the Fairview midfield, though. Rathburn into Keitlinger. Good communication from Fairview defense as Noble clears the danger. We'll go all the way up the field into the hands of Vanderhoof. Vanderhoof starts the quick attack. Ball outside of Verdecchia. Back inside to Kowalczyk. Tries to play a long through ball over to his forwards, but the forwards do not read the run. DeArmond collects easily. 15 minutes left in this game. Still 1-0 Fairview. Pressure from LaBeouf causes a error from DeArmond, but they do well to clear the danger. Diamond on the right side for Fairview. Corey does well. Aiden Piazza with lots of space in front of him. Taking his space. Low pressure from Diamond. Cuts inside. He's got Corey on the overlap. Still space for Piazza. Piazza fakes the inside. Gets around one. Is unable to meet it. Smith with the shot. Good run from Aiden Piazza. LaBeouf gave him a lot of space. Tried to see what he could do. They tried to take a shot from distance. Found Smith, and Smith was unable to get the shot on target. More pressure from LaBeouf. Noble does well to clear his lines. George and Rathburn in the middle. Back over to Feltmeyer. Back into Rathburn, but Richie DeArmond does very well to get off his line. Richie has not had much to do today, but he has been great otherwise, doing the things that is asked of him. Good awareness from Richie. Unfortunate touch from Bell. Falls to Zach Scott as Fairview has numbers. Plays it out wide to Carrera. Carrera looks to chase it down before it goes out of bounds. It will go out of bounds for LaBeouf goal kick. Fairview will look to, we're definitely going to look to try and get a clincher to secure a 2-goal lead to have a more comfortable lead as Drew Smith comes out for Josh Howells in the midfield. Piazza does well to win the goal kick, but it will go right back to the goalkeeper, Vanderhoof. Vanderhoof with another quick throw. Out over to Mazur. Mazur gets around McCall. McCall does well to recover. Will force the throw in for the Tigers. Fairview looking to stay a little more relaxed on the ball as Corey McCall with another switch of play, but Bell is there to meet it. McMahon has some space in front of him for LaBeouf as he takes the ball up the field. Howells does well to close him down and intercept the loose ball. Fairview looks to reset as they send the ball up the field to Carrera. Carrera tries to keep it down. Was unable to. Ball's back out to Major. Major does well to keep the ball in, but Elion is on the loose ball as he plays it inside to George, who will look to switch the field of play over to Januso. Januso keeps it on the ground. He's got space in front of him. He tries to play Scott through. And is unable to find him. This ball goes back out to Vanderhoof. Howells does well to win it in the midfield. George over to Jan. Back over to Howells. Back to Jan. Some good play from Fairview here. Back out to Aiden Piazza on the left side as Piazza will look to cross the ball in. Cuts inside. Good ball in. Over to Scott. This guy's unable to head it towards goal. And LaBeouf clears the danger. Good work from Fairview in the midfield to get that opportunity. McCall keeps the ball in play over to Piazza. Piazza looks to go back in the left side. Cuts inside. Gets by the defender. Tries to get around the other defender. But it'll roll out for another Fairview corner kick. 11 minutes left in this one. Fairview looks to retain their 1-0 lead. Hope to add on for a little more comfort. Elion to whip the ball in for the Tigers off the corner. Ball comes in. Vanderhoof punches it away with ease. Corey looks to take a shot from distance. Just over the bar. Good effort from Corey McCall. Got lots of space in front of him. Got to take your chances sometimes. Another LaBeouf goal kick. LaBeouf will look to be more urgent. Probably send more attackers up the field as they try to get an equalizer. Howell, space for Carrera. Takes a shot just about wide. Tries to loop it in on his left foot. But it's 3 feet wide. Avoid that kind of error, giving the ball away in a dangerous position like that. Chase Bell to take the goal kick for the Bison as the ball thumps it up the pitch. McCall plays it all the way back to Noble. More pressure from the LaBeouf offense as Rathburn is looking to pressure Januso. Januso plays a nice long ball over to Carrera, but Bell does well to intercept. Over to Rathburn. Rathburn into Feltmeyer. Over back to Verdecchia, but Noble is there to intercept. Howell's on the right side for the Tigers. Pressure from Verdecchia, but an excellent ball into Carrera, who's got loads of space in front of him. Takes a shot just over the bar. Excellent ball from Josh Howells over the high fourth line. But there's to settle it to get a cover. The opportunity are more and more for the Tigers as they look to close this game out. George wins the ball in the midfield as Carrera tries to get on top of it. Bell does well to clear the danger, but Piazza is there. Scott to get around Verdecchia. Gets around Verdecchia. He forces it out wide. He'll look to cross it in. Good ball in from Scott. Ooh! Excellent ball in from Scott. Looked like it was going towards goal as Vanderhoof had to reposition himself and try to make a save, but it slips over his hand, but it goes out of play for another LaBeouf goal kick. Very few substitutions for either team. Fairview only using the one in Carson Carrera. Ball bounces around the midfield as neither team is able to take control. Handball is called on Fort LaBeouf. Little fortune falls the way of the Tigers as Eli looks to take a long free kick. Takes it short over to Januso on the right side. Tries to catch LaBeouf off guard. Januso tries to play another long ball in, but rushes it a little too much, and it'll fall out for another LaBeouf goal kick. Fairview definitely heaving it towards goal, maybe to perhaps rack up the goal kick so they can waste a little time if they're looking to close this game out. Howells wins it in the midfield, but it falls to Feltmeyer. Feltmeyer plays it out to Timon. Timon receives pressure from Piazza. Piazza cuts inside, looks to get around Timon. Timon gets a deflection. It'll go out for a Fairview throw-in. Looks for George in the middle. LaBeouf reads the potential pass. Tries to find Carrera, but is met by the LaBeouf defense as Major looks to heave it up the pitch to Rathburn. Rathburn is unable to control it. Junuso over to Scott on the right side. Scott inside to Howells. Howells a lot of space in front of him. Good run from Eli in. Howells saw it, but LaBeouf does well to get the danger away. Quick throw in for the Tigers. George into Howells. Howells plays Scott. Scott gets around Verdecchia, but Bell clears the danger. As LaBeouf looks to counter. Feltmeyer on the ball right now, working up the midfield. Looks to switch the field. Tries to find Major, but Noble is playing pretty deep and is able to intercept the pass and plays it out for LaBeouf throw-in. 7 minutes left in this game, still 1-0 Fairview. Fairview looks to close out and continue their undefeated record. LaBeouf works the ball on the right side. Good pressure from Kissel on Rathburn to force the ball out. Ball still lands over to Verdecchia. Over to Verdecchia's younger brother. Back to the older Verdecchia. Tries to take a shot from distance, but Richie is right there to meet it. Good, comfortable save from Richie Durham, but they were definitely looking to get him off his line, but he recovered well. Richie puts the ball on the floor, looking to distribute over to Piazza. Does well. Good ball in from Richie. Piazza fakes the pass back, but Major does well to defend. Loose ball falls to Corey McCall, who looks to play Carrera. Chase Bell is there to meet the loose ball. Just overhits the pass on Verdecchia, as Junuso has some space in front of him, is taking the ball up the field. Is forced back to Howells. Howells will play the simple ball out wide to Zach Scott. Zach Scott takes it down the corner, gets around one Verdecchia, cannot get around the second Verdecchia as it goes out for a Fairview goal kick. Or a LaBeouf goal kick. 6 minutes left in the game. Fairview looks to close this one out. Keitlinger to send the ball up the field for the Bison as they look to get another counterattack. Fairview wins the ball in the midfield. Jan plays it out to Scott. Scott works it around. Plays a simple back to Junuso. Junuso looks to switch the field over to Piazza. Does well. Piazza gets a head on it. Carrera looks to win the loose ball, but is going to roll out for a LaBeouf throw-in. LaBeouf throws the ball back into play. Over to Verdecchia. Verdecchia inside to Rathburn, but McCall is there to meet it. Meets the ball again as McMahon tries to force it inside. McCall one more time. Does well. Nice ball in from Jan. Tries to find Piazza on the left side, but Vanderhoof is once again off his line and able to meet it. A little more sense of urgency from LaBeouf here. They look to get the ball up the pitch, but Fairview midfield does well to win the ball back again. Ball up the field from Howells, trying to find Zach Scott. Zach Scott tries to pressure, but Bell does well to clear the ball. Good pressure from Howells as Verdecchia deflects the ball off him for a LaBeouf throw-in. Good work from the field. Pass from Verdecchia. Side. McMahon over to Major, but McCall does well to clear the danger. Good pressure from Carrera, causes a loose ball. Falls back to the LaBeouf defense. And Fairview clears their lines. Verdecchia overreads that. Zach Scott's got a lot of pace in front of him, a lot of space in front of him, looks to use his speed. But in front of falls quickly. Middle. Good pressure from field. Call clears his lines. Good pressure from Fairview once again as Piazza forces the ball back out. The ball will roll out for a Fairview throw-in. Actually, it'll be a free kick for Fairview. The foul on Kowalczyk. Corey McCall looks to play the ball in. Looks to switch the field over to Carrera. Keitlinger does well to win in the air. Januso. Januso over to Scott. Tries to play and is there instead. Is a long goes over Kissel. He looks to take advantage of the lack of defenders for the Buffs' end, but Thyman does well to recover and forces a Fairview throw-in. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game as the score is still 1-0 in favor of the Tigers. Ball into Zach Scott. Zach Scott on the left side now. Zach Scott looks to take it to the corner. Finds Carrera in the middle. Carrera is unable to get a shot away. Back out to Piazza. Piazza curling. And it's who was looking for a rebound to retain the ball. Who it. Great job to cover and force the ball out for the Buff throw. The Buff with a lot of urgency now. Minute and a half left. Verdecchia on the throw-in into McMahon. McMahon tries to play the younger Verdecchia, but Januso is there. Januso tries to head ball over, but instead goes out for a LaBeouf throw-in. Rathburn on the throw-in for the Bison. Vidakovic urging his men forward. Aiden, looks to play Carrera while he was still onside, but Fairview a lot of space in front of him now as Carrera looks to meet the ball placed by Piazza, but LaBeouf clears their lines, forces a Fairview corner with 1 minute remaining in the game. Fairview will look to take their time, try not to give away a bad counterattack as all 4 defenders are staying back for the Tigers. Fairview playing with the ball in the corner a little bit, trying to kill some time as Aiden holds the ball, still holding the ball. Major forces it out. Another throw-in for the Tigers. Major wins the ball. Elion does very well to win it back. Ball's still in play. Major forces it out for another Fairview throw-in. 20 seconds left in this one. Eli down in the corner, just looking to kill the game off. A foul by Kowalczyk.
10.
And that should be the game for the Tigers as they
6.
just hold the ball in the corner.
3. 1.
Shove from late yellow as time. Brian and as back. Undefeated for the season as they head to Mercyhurst on Monday for a huge region matchup between the two teams. Lone goal by Fairview by Aiden Piazza off a great ball in from Michael Januso as Fairview and LaBeouf walk across the field. You enjoyed?